Shall we go over the letter that I wrote to my future self? Hello and welcome to another video. If you're new here, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, I would greatly appreciate that, and maybe even like. If anywhere along the lines you like any of this video or me, or I don't know, just because you feel like it, that'd be great, and appreciate it if you wanted to like the video. I decided to, because I have this planner that I got, one of the sections, it was like just a dot grid, and I had no idea what to do with this. So I decided, it just kind of hit me one day, I thought, I'm going to write a letter to myself about what the previous year was like. If that makes sense. So this planner is for 2021, but I wrote a letter to myself that I can reflect back on when I'm having a particular hard time in 2021, that I can look back and read about things that I overcame and that were blessings to me, or things to be grateful for in 2020. And I thought, if I ever lose this planner, I want it on video so I can look back on it here as well. So I have two options to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and start reading. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll try and answer them either in the comments or do a separate video for any questions that you may have that I can possibly answer. I feel like I've got a hair right down the center of my face. Anyway, but I thought I'd go ahead and do this, mostly just to look back on, as I had said earlier. So let's go ahead and get started. Dear Christine, 2020 has been a wild ride, starting with the need to see a psychologist, through life getting shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many people have struggled. You have had some struggles as well, but have mostly thrived. Seeing a psychologist was prompted by worsening symptoms of depression and anxiety, as well as urges and acts of self-harm. The negative self-talk and thoughts in your mind kept getting louder and louder. You found a wonderful psychologist, Dr. Rith, that truly listened to what you said, noticed what you were not yet comfortable saying, and how you held and carried yourself. You were nervous because other therapists in the past tried to say you were bipolar, schizophrenic, had borderline personality disorder, binge eating disorder, and OCD. When you researched these in the past, they would only fit one, maybe two things that you struggled with. They tried to make you fit the diagnosis rather than really listen to you. Dr. Rith truly listened. After a while, he asked if anyone ever mentioned you being on the autism spectrum. Of course not. Seriously, of course not. After extensive testing, it was determined that you are, in fact, high-functioning autistic. After going through the testing, doing my own research, including hearing other people's experiences, and going through things with the doctor, you have had a lot of relief through the diagnosis. Things you have struggled with since a child now make sense. Yeah. This has helped you see yourself in a different light, in a good way. You've been able to either ignore or quiet the negative thoughts much better, and you have had much more patience with yourself. Your courage has increased. You now have the strength, which you didn't know you had, to tell people when things bother you, when you like things, and mention when you don't understand things. That's a big one. Now that you understand better, you have become happier and are now better equipped to help yourself or ask for help when needed. Since working from home due to the pandemic, you realize just how much you've been overstimulated by working in an office with the bright lights, the smells, and the sounds, and just how often meltdowns were occurring, obviously in private. I would go either way. I would end up coming home and just melting down and just being shut down at the end of my shift, or I would actually go into the bathroom at work if things got too bad and just cry. Anyway, because it was just so bad. You now hope to continue to work from home, from home when the quarantine lifts. I hope that I can continue to do that now that I understand why things have struggled. Anyway, moving on. An exciting event is the leap you took to start a YouTube channel in September. You are even doing your very, right now, when I've written this, I'm doing my very first buddy read of Don Quixote in December. That is reading with others rather than my mom, which is great, but it's nice to read with other people too to get those differences of opinion. There have been riots which have spiked your anxiety throughout the nation. You've realized that most people who riot do so peacefully and don't want to harm others nor someone's property. There are some bad people in any group. You hope these riots have started to spark positive change in the world and will try to do your part to love and support others the best that you can. You survived your first and hopefully last earthquake in March in Utah. Very unsettling experience. Oh yeah. Thankfully, there was very little, if any, damage to property. Almost done. As the center of the earthquake was a few miles away from your home. Plus, it happened to be your day off from work, so you didn't have to worry about getting stuck in an elevator at work, which actually did happen to 2 people. All in all, 2020 has not been boring. Let's hope 2021 calms down, but you still have some growth. Love yourself, stay true to yourself, and then I signed it. And I do have room at the bottom so that if something happens between now and I'm filming this, which is the 14th of December to the end of the year, I can do a little kind of a PS. But it was kind of interesting to reflect back on the year and see how much I've grown, what the biggest growth was and what it was from, and how I've changed from learning something about myself, and I hope to continue that, and I hope 2021 is better. I hope that we find a medicine or something to make it so that we can start to, if so desired, to socialize like we used to, so that the economy can stabilize, so that small businesses don't have to worry about going out of business because everyone's quarantined and can't come into their shop because they can't have their employees come in. So I don't know, I just thought it was interesting, and I think this would be a good idea for more people to do. And just tag yourself, and you obviously don't need to do what I did and here and post it, because it is a personal thing. But these are things I am comfortable sharing because these are things that I'm going to mention to, if I have not already, family, and any friends that I have will know this anyway. So, may as well put it out there anyway. But if this sparks something in you, I hope you consider doing that as well. Just write a letter to yourself that you can reflect back on when something gets particularly hard, that you can go, look how much I've grown this past year. How strong I truly am, especially, when you're feeling really weak and hard on yourself, that you can look back on and say, I'm stronger than I realize in this moment, and I will get through this as I've gotten through things in the past. So that was my motivation for doing that. And so I think it'd be interesting to keep this, and I hope I don't ever misplace or lose this planner. It'd be interesting to look back and see what the events and appointments and all of that was. So down in the description box. You will find all of my social media information from Twitter to Instagram, even Goodreads if you'd like to be my friend on any of those platforms as well. And until next time, please stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.